Hi there, Dr. J, Steve Jensen, and we're ready to have a session on proactive lead generation that works. Now, isn't it interesting when it comes down to lead gen, we think about marketing. And when it comes down to marketing, it's about generating leads. But there's a big difference between marketing and advertising. And what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you some ways to actually create leads from a sales perspective. And I need to make sure that you understand a number of things that actually have to be in place before you start to look at creating leads. Isn't it interesting when it comes down to the health and fitness industry? There are tons of opportunities out there where we can generate highly qualified leads that are ready to buy if you do it properly. So what I'm going to show you today in this short workshop is how to actually prepare for your lead gen, and more importantly, give you some ideas to go outside the box and use guerrilla marketing ideas to be able to close lead generated activities because they want to buy. So let's get cracking. The first thing is, when it comes down to lead gen, I believe there needs to be a thing called a perpetual lead gen activity. In other words, things that you do all the time. Gone are the days of having crisis management protocols here. So here are some ideas on having a, let's say, a perpetual lead generation model. Firstly, gone are the days of actually doing tons of outreach all the time. Now, outreach is always great to be able to get into people's front of mind. In other words, they see you around, they see your logo, they see your uniform, and they see your brand. In other words, if you're going to go out into the marketplace, there needs to be an ROI. Awareness marketing is great, and making sure that people hear you and they see you, and make sure that you're noisy. It actually is a thing that needs to be done. However, if it's always around about handing out pieces of paper with actually not having targets, it sometimes can be tedious. So here's an idea. The first thing is do surveys in your club. Now, I'm not going to suggest that you just do surveys with your clients all the time. However, many of you have done the training in surveys, so I'm not going to go through that today, but I would suggest that you have a number of surveys that you do every week. Now, some people start this, but they actually don't continue it. I believe it needs to be, as you can see here, if you look at the sheet here, it says 2 per week, not negotiable standard. So you nominate people to do that and actually do it well. Then you have making sure that you have a business of the month nominations. That means that you have an opportunity to have a business that can come down to your club or studio that's going to be for the week or 2 weeks for a certain month. That could be from family and friends and so forth. You'll hear this strategy come up quite a bit in the no cost or low cost lead generation activities. Then you have thank you calls. Thank you calls are something that you do to say thank you for joining, and we have a prompt and a script which I'll show you quickly in this training. Then there's gold passes. Now the gold passes are, or a kickstart pass, is something that you can give to people, but they have to be pre-qualified. In other words, you'll set a certain target of number of kickstarts or gold passes that you give on a monthly basis. We recommend that with your team that you'd recommend, say, 5 per month. In other words, that's just 1 a week. That's pretty easy, hey? Outreach. Outreach is when we do go out there and make a noise. Now, if you have a mascot like Captain Accountability or the Purple People Eater, or you want to make sure that that person is preordained before they go out. In other words, get onto social media and tell people to meet up with so-and-so and meet up with Captain Accountability and meet up with the Purple People Eater and make sure that they are ready to be given something. In other words, tell them, hey, find out how you get 2 weeks for free, or find out how you get a 1 week membership, or find out how you can get something. So tell the people what to do before you go out. Okay, hours of powers. Hours of powers is giving free cups of coffees at let's say, at a cafe, and also at your fetes and at your outreach. Should do at least 1 or 2 a month. Again, that is a strategy which I'm not going to cover at length today, but this is just a perpetual thing that you want to do. Every single activity must have a target. Don't do stuff without targets. Just say, hey, we're just going to get some leads. You need to have a minimum. In other words, an absolute minimum number of leads. A lead is a name and a number where you can contact the person. not just handing out lots of pieces of paper. But I will give you ideas where you can do a bulk volume process, which will work as well. Now, referral calls. This is called a money call. This is something that needs to be practiced, and you need prompts and scripts to be able to utilize. We recommend that you do at least 5 call contacts per day. In other words, get the referrals with a strong referral program. And by the way, just on referrals, never ask for referrals. Always ask for recommendations if the person is enjoying their training. And then you've got your hour of power or competition calls. It's no good doing an hour of power or going out to fetes and having people enter your competition unless you're going to call the leads that don't actually win the 6 months or the 3 months. This needs to be done within 7 days of entering the competition. And last but not least, business of the month's calls and contacts. In other words, people that want to be your business of the month or the business you've allocated, you need to call the people that are going to be making the decision, and then guess what? You then invite them in, or you go and see them and then invite their people in. Don't try and get their clients, only work with their staff. So that's called a perpetual model. And what goes with a perpetual model is accountability. Gee whiz, it's something that I recommend so strongly, but so many people start it but don't actually do it on a regular basis. I strongly recommend that if you're going to have a perpetual or any type of lead gen activity, you do have accountability. This is just a very simple model. This is just an Excel spreadsheet. If you've got an event, especially in your business, we want to make sure that you have the team members who are going to get people to the event. What's the target? What actually happens? How many of their friends coming? And how many friends attended? You got blitzing. Blitzing is, I believe, especially in the studios, we need to make sure that we kick some goals and get a blitz where we say, hey, let's help some members do an extra session or two just to get them ready for their run. So make sure you have some events that they can actually attend. In some cases, we need to do catch-ups. In other words, people that got things on hold and have got an accumulation of, let's say, sessions. Strongly recommend that you nail that too. And then there's obviously the accountability on surveys, thank you calls, and then you've got your promos and so forth. This is just an example of some accountability. I recommend this should be blown up to an A3 or possibly even a A2, and it's something that everyone writes on a day-to-day basis. All right, enough of all that. Now we've got an idea of what perpetual lead gen is. It's actually critical when it comes down to lead gen to make sure you have a plan. Lead gen is the lifeblood of any type of activity for sales. If you don't have leads, you can't make sales. But you know what? It's the quality of the leads and the perpetuation of those leads which is critical. So what I'm going to suggest here is that you have a plan for the month, and it's done well and truly at the beginning of the month for this month. So for instance, you have it done the last week of the following month and ready to get started on the first of every month. Do a little launch beforehand. Set the days and the team targets. So in other words, how many calls and how many leads we're going to create on a daily basis and how many is for the whole team. Regular campaigns like the perpetual process I showed you needs to be in place. Don't go into crisis marketing. And what we need to do is to do a practice process to make sure you know how to do the conversion. So many times do I see a strong call to action and let's say the closing strategy is done poorly. Tools and prompts, in other words, scripts and tools to use to generate the lead when you're going out of the studio or inside the studio. You need to have the tools. And that's why you should have things on either iPads, and I strongly recommend to get it done quickly, just get it on a piece of paper. Review the outcomes every day, and I say daily, and make sure that we have some rewards. Now that's all pretty straightforward, but you know what? These 7 steps are critical when it comes down to generating any type of leads and actually activity that can be measured as far as sales is concerned. So let's put this into practice. The fact of the matter is, in this competitive marketplace, we have to do more. We have to do more. We've got to get more phone calls. We have to have people designated to do the activity. If you think we can get the same result as we did a year or two ago by doing the same things, well, let me get you to think again. You've got to do more. You've got to have designated times to get enough contacts and calls to book enough chats or ICs to make sure that we make the sales. Easy to say? Yes. Easy to do? Yes, if you plan it. Here's an example. A frequently asked question is, well, what should we do? Well, there needs to be a thing called a BAM, a bare-ass minimum of dials throughout the day. I recommended any type of old lead that you're going to do a call matrix. For those that have done the training in matrixing, matrixing is all about calling the person, leaving an exciting message and calling them a couple more times throughout the day after you've told them you're going to do so. Send them an SMS and make sure that goes over a 5-day span, and some people push it over 7. It's very simple. Call 1, SMS, couple more calls throughout the day. Next day, slightly different voicemail, and then the same activity, send them an SMS. Day 3, nothing. Day 4, the same thing with a slightly different message, and then you might leave it for day 5 and do it day 6, but I would suggest you just go straight through the 5th day, so there's been 4 days of activity. Once that's been exhausted, guess what? Just put them in a loss leader and move on. So, the actual critical component here when it comes down to sales is you need to have engagement. The stats say you need to get in contact with any type of lead that comes into your business within 1 minute. Yep. Gone are the days of waiting 3 to 5 minutes and sometimes 10 minutes even to the next day. That person's gone somewhere else. The scenario is that let's get this person out. Let's get it out of our, let's say, inbox and into the call box as quickly as possible. Now, we've got to be realistic here. Ideally within 1 minute, but maximum of 5 minutes. So it's critical that you do that call, ideally if it comes in within that minute. Use your call matrix if it goes to a voicemail. And by the way, a couple of little things like I've shown lots of people in recent times, if you're using a telephone, that's fine. But you know what? If you use a mobile phone, you can send an audio message via text. An Apple to Apple, you can do it quite easily, or you can use it via Memo to an Android. And if you want to go one step further, send a little video and then send that via SMS. Much higher a contact rate and return call rate. If you leave it, the statistics will tell you that you're going to have to call 7 to 11 times to be able to get hold of the human being. That takes a lot of follow-up, and we just don't have the time anymore. So urgency is critical. Now, this is something I'd like you to take special attention to. Make sure you read this screen. Timing is everything when it comes down to sales. And HubSpot Statistics, which is a CRM which is known worldwide, says the best time to call is between that 4 and 5 o'clock period, or around about that 10 o'clock through to about 11 o'clock. This is the golden hours. A lot of people say, oh, look, we'll do our calls at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock when it's quiet in the business. Well, guess what? Those people are either having lunch, in and out of meetings, dashing back from lunch and getting into work afterwards. Guess what? That 11 to 2 o'clock is called the dead time. So if you're making phone calls, do it between the golden hours of that period of time, between 4 and 5, or any time between 10 to 11, and we're good to go. Something to keep in mind. Now, between the 11 to 2 o'clock time, you can do SMSs, you could do the voice message, and a little voice to text, and also possibly a few videos and some emails. Just occupy your time. See more people, make more sales. So if we're going to book more chats, after you connect with every prospect, make sure you treat every call as you only have one chance. Guys, if we do a poor job in that initial contact, you're not going to get a second chance to get a first impression opportunity. Make sure you know what to do, how to do it, and make sure that you are professional, but also real. Get rid of that sales twang that we have to hear on a regular basis. So the question you need to ask yourself when you're making a telephone call or sending out any type of correspondence to somebody is say, hey, what have I got to say to have that person, gee, I've got to meet you now. What would you have to say? Well, let me just tell you what it would be. is make sure that you tell them something that inspires them, that you're an expert and you're going to give them something when they turn up. Not you're going to show them the studio or show them around or do an IC or just a tour. Boy, you might give them a cup of coffee. Well, they can get a cup of coffee somewhere else. What are you going to say to inspire that person to buy? In other words, how are your phone calls memorable? Yeah, it's a good question. Telephone calls are probably the poorest skill in most businesses today. Why? Because we don't practice them, we don't have a strategy, and we certainly don't have energy. People don't like doing the calls. So, question, do you like doing phone calls? Do you like doing sales? Because if you do, yes, then stand up and move when you're talking to the person. Don't sit passively. Make sure that you stand up and have a happy energy. Now remember, if you understand DISC, modify your voice according to theirs. Match and mirror their voice. And if you understand the DISC model, always go low. If you don't know, go low. In other words, be in I or S modality. Now, this is pretty self-explanatory. So you want to modulate your words, make sure you're not mumbling. Loud and soft tones make a difference. Confidence and excitement about the possibility bit, but not over the top. But someone wants to come down to meet somebody that's excited about their possibility. Have passion about what you do and your brand. And more importantly, sometimes it's a good idea to speak a little bit more slowly, especially if they have a slower tone. I always recommend that you stand up when you're making phone calls. It's so much better. You can use your hands, you can use your energy, and you can move around a little bit. There's so many wonderful things like little doolackies you can do on Bluetooth and all that sort of jazz. If you have that possibility, or even just a headset, it's so much better. Use your hands, use your face, and just have some fun on the phone. So there are 5 ways to book more chats, and let me just give you some ideas here. Please take note. Using "did I catch you at a bad time," you're 40% less probable of getting the person to say, I'll come and see you, because they'll probably say, yes, you did. Don't introduce a negative introduction. Number 2, how are you? This correlates with around about 3.4 times higher likelihood of them booking a chat with you. You want them to book? Ask them how they are. Let's go one step further. If you say the reason for my call is la la la, after you've said, how are you? You're going to get 2.1 times. That's pretty good. These are pretty easy things, aren't they? Now, the big rock. Asking, how have you been? In other words, how's your life been? Not just, how are you now? How have you been? Like, tell me what's happened in the past. 6.6 times higher. Now, the word we instead of I, much better, because that means that you are a part of something. Success rate, 35% higher. Isn't that great to know? So if we put that into practice, one of the big mistakes we make is we say we're going to come and see the studio, come and see the club, come and see the center. Guys, a center, a studio is a studio. They're coming to meet you. Another mistake, we talk about all our features. Oh, we've got our bioscan, or we've got our this, or we've got our that. That's really cool, but if you're going to talk about a feature, link it to a benefit that gives them a feeling. People don't come to see you because of a feature. They're going to come about the feeling they're going to get. Using sales killing words like, let's book an appointment. I can't get you, let's get you started. Started is so old-fashioned. And we focus on what we have and not what they're going to do, so they can actually have an experience. So I'm sure that you are clear on that, but make sure that you're not talking about your facility unless you link it to a feeling. Now, before we get into all the good stuff, if you use a call matrix and you understand the loop management, and I'm just going to recap this. Many of you who have done training with have actually, let's say, you've learnt this, but sometimes we forget it. So let's just go through this. If you call somebody on the day of the inquiry or getting the lead, and you contact that person, you have 100% more chance of them coming in to see you. How good's that? So that's why that urgency within that call matrix is critical. If we leave it a 24 hours, that's a 24-hour block, you've got 25% less chance of them coming to see you and buying. And then we go another 25%, then we go into dead man's land. So on the day, that's great. The second day, which is really day one, is good. And then we get to the third day and the fourth day, well, and we start measuring things like IC1s or chat ones, appointment one. That means inquiry today, got the lead today, contact today, booked in for the day. Woohoo! I've got businesses that measure this on a day-to-day basis, and guess what? They're excited about IC1s or chat ones or appointment ones or appointment twos. It's better than appointment 3. And a W1 is a web lead that we contact today, book them in today, they turn up today. Boy, oh boy, that's gold. So when it comes down to booking chats and making sure we generate leads, and most of you who have worked with me in the past will understand it's critical that you have USPs. In your call, it is absolutely essential you use your prompt and it actually tells you, use a USP. And you can actually use a USP quite easily and just throw it in at the end. By the way, we're the first, we're the biggest, we're the only guys that have that. How good is that? So we have another thing that we suggest you use. And today is not about teaching you that, and I'm sure that many of you have done this already. But if you know about inking, I never knew that activity. In other words, teach them something that they don't know, or they'll say, wow, I never knew that. And you ask them, do you think what I just told you is important? They go, absolutely. Say, far too much to cover over the phone. I'll cover it in more detail when you pop in. And by the way, we're the only guys that do it that way. And they go, oh, how good's that? So you want to teach them something that they don't know. You tailor it to fit their problem. You'll take control of their emotions and throw in a USP at the end. Now, as I keep saying, many of you have done training with me before. And today is not about creating an agitator inking benefit to you so that you can. But for those of you that have done this, recap it. Create this little chart, put it up in your cockpit. Because when you do all your lead gen, and when you get all these leads I'm going to show you how to create, let me promise you, this will come in handy. Always, when you find out their problem, oh, you might not know, you might not know. Might be a USP, it could be an ink. Well, I never knew that. The benefit to you is no more problem, no more pain, so that you can have that peace of mind. And you throw it in at the end. By the way, we're the only guys that do that. Now, in most businesses, there's usually anywhere between 4, 5, or 6 problems that people bring up quite regularly. So once you've actually created this, you can put it up in your little cockpit, in your room. Put it up right in front of your phone. And guess what? Use it as a ready reckoner and just read it to the person. It is absolute gold. Now, for those of you who understand red and green, guess what? Red brain, no decisions. However, you can actually teach them something that they don't know about some of your features. The benefit to you is no more pain, so that you can have peace of mind. So we turn red to green. Guys, if you're actually talking about an offer, a service, come in and get some activity, come and do a class, come and do a bioscan, come and have this, that's red. So that you can have that, so you can avoid a problem. And that means that you're really excited about your holiday. You're looking forward to the holiday. That's what they're going to come in for. They're not going to come in to just check out your treadmills, have your bioscan, and have a chat with you. So I'm sure that many of you know that. It was just a bit of a quickie to make sure we kick some goals. All right. Before we get into the lead gen, quick recap on qualifying tough. Guys, when I go through and show you how to create these leads, I want to make sure that you're really clear on something. Do not, I'll repeat this, do not book people in to see your facility and see you and experience something and get something that they don't know until you have qualified. If they like what they see and see them getting the outcome to have no more pain or, let's say, frustration, do they think that they might want to continue after a trial or after their visit with you? Guys, there's nothing wrong with asking that after you've built enough rapport. This doesn't work if you don't build the rapport, so you've got to make sure you build some rapport along the way. So let's put this into practice, and this is something I hope, if you haven't learned this before, you'll take this on board and you'll use it when you're getting a referral from a person, or you are qualifying a lead that is coming for any type of trial or any type of, let's say, initial consult. If you're going to get a referral of any type of description from somebody, you'll always ask somebody, do your friends live or work locally? And if they say yes, ask them if they're going to be around a while. If it's not a referral and you're talking about someone that's just winning a competition, you'll ask them, do they live or work locally? And you're going to be around a while. They go, yes, terrific. How long's that? LT. Ask them if they're currently training. What have they done? Have they done PT before? Oh my goodness, if they say no, you've got something to look forward to. Now, and you might be saying, hey, we're more than just a personal training studio. We're more than just a health club. We're more. Tell them you are more. And then you say, well, just quickly, what sort of result are you looking for? Is it building, trimming, toning, firming, shaping? And when they tell you, they say, oh my goodness, we are experts in doing that. And the last thing here, say, by the way, if you like the studio, the club, the training, the nutrition activities that we're going to do you think you might? Do you think you might? Do you think you might want to continue to train and get in great shape, ready for football or whatever you're looking for? Ask that question. The Q question is critical. If you don't ask the Q question, you might get someone that's just kicking tires. LTRQ is gold. So for those of you that done the training in a thank you call, these are fantastic to be able to do a bit of a customer care call, have 2 questions at the beginning, see how they received everything, and then you're going to say, did you receive mini memberships? And they say no, and then you'll explain it. Now in the prompt, and again, this is not for today, but in the prompt, it actually gives you an opportunity to say, did you receive it when you joined? And if you didn't, you'll go straight over here and go down here. But if you said, well, we don't do it at point of sale, like give mini memberships away, you'll go straight to 3B and so on. Again, this is just a prompt to make sure it's called a customer care call, and thank you for joining. Now, any type of referral you're going to get, and I'm going to show you how to do that in a moment, you need to make sure that you're good at your money call. This is the money call. It's no good getting tons of leads without a good prompt to make sure that you're getting pre-qualified people turning up ready to buy. If you have secondary spend, you'll pre-frame it before they turn up. Tell them what to expect, and it's usually done with a very good prompt. You don't use it word for word, it just reminds you what to say. Now again, this is not for today. These are things that are already in your studio and in your clubs. Hours of powers and all those types of things, very similar, but it's just a different region you're calling. Okay, when it comes down to booking people in, less is best. Really long conversations which are arduous and people get too much talking and not enough listening, you're going to lose it. Now, this is a great strategy, and I suggest you print this out and put it in your cockpit. And when you teach them something that they don't know and show them you're an expert, ask, do you think it's important to, let's give you an example, to make sure that you know how about the nutrition and have someone helping you along the way? Because 70% of your results is what you put in your mouth. And they'll say, absolutely. Yeah, I totally agree. So many people don't do it. Look, far too much to cover over the phone, Bob. I can cover it more detail when you pop in, okay? Look, hey, by the way, would you like me to put in a little bit of an action plan or a success plan for you? And I'll give you some ideas to take away with you. They'll say, absolutely. You'll tell them that was a good idea. I'll just write it down. Recommendation. You do 2 of these. And you put a little thing in an envelope, and when you ring up to confirm, say, I've got your action plan ready to rock and roll, make sure that you're looking fabulous for your honeymoon. Never confirm a phone or someone's coming for an appointment without going back to the reason they're coming in. And if you've got an action plan ready, yippee, we're good to go. Your confirmation call should start at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Yep, just before the bewitching hour. This is a good time to call, as you know. Use a prompt, use a script, and make sure that you try to call the human being. And if you don't, use a great voicemail message and maybe even send a audio to SMS message and always bring back their problem. Confirm the address if you get them on the phone and make sure you're looking forward to giving them the success plan that you planned for them. Tell them they're going to love it. Remember, they're going to come in to meet you and make sure they get their success plan. Tell them what's going to happen and what's going to happen when they get to the studio and that you're going to fix their problem. So here's a small prompt you can use. Hello, Kelly. Listen, how you going? All good? It's Steve here from Vision. Now, how are you tonight? Listen to the response. Okay, look, I noticed we're getting together to talk about whatever it is and have a whatever you're going to give them to get your outcome, first grade, honeymoon. And I put aside some time to do that for you. Just wondering, do you know where we're located? Yep, you do. Across the road, car parking's here and so forth. I've also prepared your action plan for you with some really good information you wanted on A, B, and C. You're going to love it. So when you get to the studio, I'll be waiting for you around and then we'll go through a health history, which we'll complete together, okay? Terrific. So I look forward, Kelly, to seeing you at 6 o'clock. Oh, by the way, want a tea or coffee? Be a good time of day for it. I'll have it ready for you. See you soon. Bye. That's easy, huh? You know, people don't do this and just send a text. Many. That's why no-show rates are high. Or they turn up not ready to buy. Okay, enough of all that stuff. Let's get you ready to make some sales. Now, some of you already know what a quality guarantee is. A quality guarantee means that people can start a trial of some description, and even if you've given them an opportunity to close and they still balk your sale, still want to use it for 2 weeks, still want to get a feel of the place, you use a quality guarantee close. In other words, they'll sign the paperwork before they get started. So if they want an opt-out, they've got a 3 to 5 day opt-out window, and if they don't tell you, the paperwork's done and they stay. Even if the offer was a today-only offer. Now again, that is a training in itself, but many of you have done the training with me. I'm sure you know what to do. So let's go through now and get you ready to close the sale. So many people have no idea what a sales strategy is. What's a sales strategy? A sales strategy is a call to action. A sales strategy is the process that you're going to go through to make sure that the person wants to buy. You've got to have it clear on what you're going to do at the end. What's your close going to be? So what's going to happen when they turn up? What's the experience? And what's going to be the way that we get them to start? Now, it's not just about the price. It'll be about the experience. But you've got to be clear on how you're going to close. So let's put this into perspective. Here's some closing strategies. Close on the day. In other words, you have a strong offer. Let's get today. Now, by the way, don't get let's say, how can we say, an ordinary presentation where it's all about the offer. This is a big mistake. Oh, you get it today, you're going to get 3 extra sessions. Come on, you're going to get 3 extra sessions, and you push it down their throat. That's so red brain, and you get pushed back. Close on the day is a great idea. You say, look, there's a bit of a sweetness, stop procrastination. We're going to give you a little bit of this today. This is a today only thing, which is 24 hours. It'll just sweeten it today. If you do a today only, it has to be today only. Don't do it after 24 hours. Sometimes you'll lose a sale because of it, but just hold strong to your integrity. Then there's a reducing opportunity. You might give them 2 weeks for free on the first day. Now guess what? If they get started on the second day, they'll only get 10 days. And then it goes down to 8 days. A reducing opportunity. Or you might have a couple of things you're giving. So just tell them, hey, this is to stop procrastination. Save money, easy peasy. You'll do this, get started. Scarcity, we've only got 20. By the way, when people say that, people say, yeah, but please make it is 20 and make it real. Urgencies, dates and urgencies are really good. If it finishes at the end of the month, make sure it does finish at the end of the month. But that's where quality guarantee comes in. Then we have other things like low entry. Low entry means they're going to buy a program or get something for free, but they must qualify to get it. Do not let anyone into a low entry or a trial that has not been LTRQ'd. LTRQ, live and work locally, training, are they training? Yes or no, doesn't matter. LTR, what results are they looking for? And Q, if you like it, you think you'll continue. Terrific. All we have now is an opportunity, and now we have an easy entry, could be a low price. Now, a low price doesn't mean cheap. Sometimes low price could be more expensive for a small amount of time, and it's cheaper to join. But they must qualify too. And then we have the try before you buy with the QG risk reversal. So I've given you, there's a sheet here. This is great. And every business that I've actually given this to that's written it out, it's significantly changed their outcomes positively. In other words, go through and complete your sales and closing strategy for the month of whatever it may be. How are you going to receive leads? Going to be phone, street, web leads? How you connect with the leads? Phone, SMS, messenger? What tools are you going to use? What outcomes? What links? And then you got, are you going to have appointments, say 1, 2, and 3? You know about it, or I see 1, 2s, and 3s. Making sure that we understand what the sales process is, what the closing is, and making sure your price presentation is good to go. And the big one, how you're going to close. So they're the things that I'd like you to have a think about and have in place before we get going. So the rest of our time is for you to fill in the worksheet that comes with this on the strategies that are going to work best for you. Now, the first one, the busy place strategy. Oh, now so many people have tried this in the past and had success, and some just get blown off the park. It doesn't work for them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the strategy, and you're going to take the best and leave the rest. Car parks, depending on your municipality, in other words, your council, train stations, bus stops. You want to make sure that you have something to give out. And if you're going to go and give these out to people, in the car parks is a volume thing. We suggest you get some sort of little card that has an offer on it. It's a mini membership valued at, for 1 week. And put it not on their windscreen. Put it next to the lock or that door handle as a little, like a business card. And then you'd make sure you go back afterwards and pick up the ones on the floor because people do throw them on the floor. So clean it up. Next thing is train stations. If you're going to give out stuff at train stations, always have something you give it with them. It might be a Jaffa, like a fantail or a minty, and you'll say, "Hi there, how you going? Hope you're having a good day." And have a little card with a little mini membership on it. Say, "Here you go," and give it to them. I'm Marvin. I'm Steve. I'm John. I'm from. Have you ever thought of coming down and doing some health and fitness? They say, "No, it's fine." They say, "Yep, oh, terrific. How about we book you in for find out your biological age?" Don't say a bioscan. How about we book you in for a class? No. How about we put you in for a review and see how we can help you? In other words, expertise stuff. They say, "No, that's fine. Just give them the piece of paper with the call to action on it." Bus stops are even better because people just stand there and you can have chit chats with them. Hi there. Make sure you go with a couple of people. Now, don't go on the train station. Go outside the train station, and we recommend that you do it in the morning and in the evening. And I would suggest that you alternate the process. So in a 4-week period, car park, train station, bus stop, car park. Following month, train station, bus stop, car park, train station. You need to have things you overprint, get little cards, make sure there's an offer on it. Now it's a busy pace strategy. Works a treat. Gold passes. These are great. Have a valuable gold pass, give it to your team members, set a target and say, great. Make sure that you give it to members and then you measure it. Make sure that you say, train your team members on making sure that the client is doing really well and say, hey, look, I've got 4 of these to give away. I'd like to give it to some of my clients that have some people that will train just like you. I want to train with people like you. So who from your football? Who from your... And I'm just curious. L, do they live and work locally? T, are they training? What results do you think they might want? Okay, I'll check it with them. And if they like it, do you think they'll want to continue just like you? 1 a week? 3 a month? Measure it. Businesses that do this on a daily and a weekly basis and measure it gets a result. All right, this is a gold. I remember many years ago in my business, we had a terrible month. I was struggling for things to do. And one of the things I did is I got every single piece of cardboard that we could write on the back of, blank business cards, even ones with people's names on it that were no longer there. I said I put them in bundles of 200. I then got all the team together and I said, well, what should we do? So I said, what are all these things? I said, well, look, we're not getting enough appointments. So what I would love you to do is I'd love you to go out and say hello to somebody. Hello, I'm Steve. What's your name? Ah, whereabouts do you work? I live up around the corner. Terrific. I'm from. So you always ask them the question first. I'm from. That's what I do. Where do you work? And I'll tell them. No, you're local? Terrific. So you're qualifying, aren't you? He said, oh my goodness, have you ever thought of coming to a club or studio? What are you doing for your health and fitness? Oh, I'm not doing anything. Is it something important to you? Absolutely. Well, how about I organise a mini membership for you for a whole week? We could find out your biological age too. Oh, okay, that'd be great. All right. Have you got a business card? Some do, some don't. Most of the times they don't. So you say, oh, what's your name? You take your business card out. What's your name? It's Steve. Put Steve's name down. What's your mobile number? All right. What's your email? Terrific. When would you like to come down? Oh, I don't know. Well, let's say Tuesday or Wednesday. How about I see what I got available on Tuesday or Wednesday? Terrific. Where do you put that card? In your pocket. Then you write the same on your business card and give it to them, and then you're going to give them a call afterwards. Now, here's the challenge. You want to do this 10 times in a week. You either get their business card or swap it over, and you get the team to do it. What I did is I got everybody in the business to do it. Oh, yes, the whole crew. And I taught them how to do it. And we did all of the training and all the good stuff that went with it. Okay, now let's get into the next strategy. Now, as we go along with these strategies, you can hybrid these up as you go. In other words, these are just ideas for you to put into your head, let's say, brainstorm with the team and see what works for you. Now, the teacher strategy. This is a great strategy. Now, there is a theme that you'll see, and the theme is we need to have in the back of our mind, what are we going to do to be able to firstly get in, get the lead, and what are we going to do with the lead when we get it? Now, the teacher strategy is terrific. One of the ways to actually do this in-house is to find a member who's actually a teacher. Someone that's is a teacher in a technical college, at a university, primary school, preschool, whatever it may be. And remember, we're not going after their, let's say, students. We're going for the team members, the staff members, the auxiliary staff, the people that are working there. In other words, they have holidays, teachers have great hours, but also they're under a lot of stress. So the teacher strategy is fantastic. What you want to do is to find a teacher that's training at your club or studio ideally. If that person is in there, you just say, hey, how's it going? And if they're getting great results, have a chat to them about it and tell them, hey, I'm just curious. Would you like to nominate your school to be the school of the month? Okay, what's that? That allows a school, we're only going to be doing 2 schools or services a month. We could nominate your school to be the school of the month, which means that any of the teachers, auxiliary staff, part-time teachers and their family and their friends to come down to the club studio for a whole week or 2 weeks. It is terrific. And you know what? At the end of the day, if they'd like to join, they'll get a special opportunity. We're only doing it for a limited number of schools. Would you like to nominate your school? If they say yes, I said, who should we speak to? Now, what you then do is you then give that person a call. It could be the headmaster, it could be the deputy head, whoever is the, let's say, the person. And what you then do is you just say, hey, one of our members is training here and has nominated you to receive the be the school of the month. And you'll nominate a month. You say, well, what we do is we do this, this, and this. We give them 2 weeks, 1 week at the studio, do all the great stuff. We go through the nutrition, we go through programming, and they can utilize the studio after hours and so forth, all the great things that you have available. And you might say, hey, we'll be doing this, and we help with nutrition, or we'll find out their biological age. And if they do want to join, they'll get a special rate, and their families can come too. Would you like to be that school? And if they say yes, terrific. Now, if they say yes, they say, well, how can we tell your teachers and the auxiliary staff about it? Well, we can come in at lunchtime, we can go around to the staff rooms. How would you like to do that? And they'll tell you what's going to be best. Or could put an email out and say, emails don't work really well. It'd be best if you're okay with it. We can go around and ask a few people, if they'd like to do some health and wellness or fitness, and we can tell them a little bit about it. Would you allow us to do that? Most schools will. Now, let's say you have no school teachers at your business. Well, that's okay. You then call the local schools and say, hey, we're your local studio. We specialize in doing this, and we're actually wanting to say thank you to all the schools. And you might say, we've got a few of your people training here. It's up to you. What you want to then say is that we're going to be nominating a school of the month in a month of this or this. And I'm just curious, would you like to be the school of the month? And they will receive, a week or 2 weeks, and all of their family and friends can come, all for your staff and for your family members too. And, it would be for everybody. And if they say yes, I say, terrific. Why don't I come down and meet up with you? And then you want to make sure that you go through and explain your program. And guess what? The great thing about this is it's giving back. And you might even want to do some advertising in their school gazette and so forth. And if you're school of the month, guess what? You might even have the ability to go to their fetes or their sport days and so forth. It's an absolute gold. And the businesses that have done this have had an ongoing relationship with the school. So what you need to do is you need to look in your database to find out if you have a teacher or an auxiliary staff member who's a part of a school. And then you maybe get the name of that person, nominate them to become that school of the month, and then weave your magic. Now remember, you've got to have in mind what's going to happen when they come in. What process you're going to use. Are they going to come in? Are they going to show them how to join? Give them a great offer as well. And if they don't want to join, get them on a quality guarantee. In other words, get the paperwork signed up. But remember, everyone that comes in on any of these try before they buy type models have to go through LTRQ. LTRQ is critical. Do they live and work locally? Going to be around a while? Well, that would be yes, because they're at the school. They might not live in the area, but they do work in the area. Ask them, are they training at the moment? What results they're looking for? And if they like it, do you think they'd want to continue? Now remember, it's not just for the school teachers, it's also for the auxiliary staff, the gardeners, the administration, the librarians, as well as their family. It is gold. So if you want to do that, I'm sure you can hybrid it accordingly. It's all good to go. So teachers, now all suburbs have at least a primary school and a high school and a technical college or universities that are close by. All right, now this dovetails into the school of the month, because what you can do here, you can do one or the other or dovetail them together. Now you might do it separately. You can call a school or talk to your teacher, same thing, strategy. And you can say, hey, we'd like to donate to your school. They say, what's that all about? What we'll do is we'll get some trophies for the scholastic person of the year and also the sporting person of the year. Now, it might be a co-ed school. You might give them one for the girl and one for the guy. Now, they have open days. Well, lots of them do. You say, we'd like to actually present it for you. And what we'll do is also give you some memberships, a 12-month membership for the person you choose. Now, be scholastic, and it could be sporting. So that's going to be 2 memberships. Could be girl and boy. So that's going to be 4. Who cares? Because you're going to get in front of everybody and you're going to have the ability to say, well done. And during the gathering, you're going to get everyone to put their business card or a little jitty, a little like a raffle ticket, and you're going to pull it out for the family members too that are going to be there. So get permission to do that. Oh, this is terrific. Now, the other day I presented this to a studio, and guess what they said? They said, well, in some cases what they do is you might give them a month membership that they can sell, maybe a 2-month membership that they could sell at a really great price, and they keep all the money. Oh, yes. So they give them a little raffle ticket, they'll put the person's name and a little butt. They keep the money, all the money for the school. But guess what? You then get the opportunity to give that person a call and invite them in to use their month and then do a flip. That was a great idea, and I know that some businesses have done that. So using schools as business of the school of the month and get them to come down for a week or two, or do a donation with trophies and memberships and doing a little bit of a lucky door prize, or give them some memberships to sell so they can actually put it to their, to their sporting department to buy some new equipment and so forth. Remember, when people hear about your generosity, they'll be talking about you. So schools, is that something that resonates with you? Now just stop here for a moment. All these little ideas and so forth need to have a closing strategy. The closing strategy is equally as important as the lead generation strategy. What's your closing strategy here? What's the sales strategy? Do you have that sales strategy cleaned up? Do you know how to do your price presentation? Is there going to be an offer to get them to make a decision? Are you going to sweeten it a little bit with 3 extra sessions, or a little bit of this or a little bit of that? What are you going to give them to close them? So always when they come in for the initial consultation, you'll always do a full needs analysis, going through your health history. You'll then go through your explanation, your demonstration. And here's a bit of a word of warning. When people come in, don't get them in for their first workout to train. It's an exploratory, it's a discovery appointment, where you're going to go through your whole presentation and give them an opportunity to continue. LTRQ is a pre-qualifier, and that's what you'll tell the schools before you go in. They're going to be people that are LTRQ. Okay, so you'll pre-qualify them before they turn up, and when they turn up, you'll LTRQ them during your qualification. Remember, it's not about getting lots of people in the studio and club, it's about making sure that we make lots of members that are really excited about moving forward. So, school of the month. And by the way, I recommend you do that at least twice a year. You could usually do 2 or 3 schools, no more, and just keep it perpetuating. Now, this is a great strategy. Now, some people say, oh, we don't use newspapers anymore, but most districts have a local newspaper, whether it's online or whether it's actually paper. I found this was really great fun at the beginning of every week. We used to do this at my clubs. What you do is you grab the newspaper and you have a cup of coffee with your team, and you look for opportunities in your local newspaper. Oh yes, you say, well, where are they? When I first did this, I was just a bit dubious about it. But you know what? You'll never read a newspaper again, because what you do is you look for opportunities to cut out the article or download it and send a little letter to the person, introducing yourself and giving them a free week to welcome them to the community. Or let's say the netball team won the grand final, or maybe were beaten. You cut it out, you send it to the coach, congratulating them on getting to the final or for winning the final, and say, hey, we'd love to invite you down, and your whole team. We'll make you the team of the month, which means you and your team and their family and friends can come down for making the final or doing so well, and to make sure you're ready for next year. So you send them the little letter with the things pasted on the paper with a card, and then you give them a call at the netball club to say, hey, did you receive? And they'll say yes. Maybe even put a Freddo Frog in there. They're going to say, wow, yes, I did. How does this all work? And then you get them down, you'll go through the process. Remember, you've got to have your sales strategy right. You've got to have your closing strategy right. Is there a sweetener to get them to do it? And you might do a quality guarantee close to make sure that they get the good stuff, because you've got a closing strategy. Now, give it another example. Let's say there's a new shop opening in the area, and it says it's, John Smith's going to be the manager. Well, you know the person's address because it's going to go to the shop. You cut out the thing, you stick it in there, you send it out there, do the same thing. You look for opportunities where you can say, well done, and introduce yourself. Well, when we did this, we used to come up with so many different ideas, and we're cutting out little pieces of paper, and it was also acknowledging the community. This was a weekly event. Usually a whole team does it, and after a little while we had 2 or 3 people that did this all the time. It's one of the things I used to really enjoy, and it gave us great opportunities to either be, let's say, friends in business, as well as getting people in and trialing our stuff and talking about it, and obviously making more memberships. But remember, LTRQ. Okay, now, got a few strategies in place. I want you to now to stop the video. I want you to figure out, in the sheets you've got from your notes, I want you to have a think about what strategies, lead generation strategies, work best for you. Now, I'm sure you're not going to pick them all. Now, you might do one every 2 months. You might do one a month. This is below the line marketing. It does take time. Now, newspaper strategy, 2 people. If we go to the school strategy, I would suggest 2 people. If we then go back to the business card, it would be everybody. But you would pick probably 2 or 3 times throughout the year that you would do it. Your goal pass. Well, that could be every month. And then you got your busy places. I'd recommend a couple of people do that. So what I'm going to ask you to do is to go through and stop the video and pick the ones that you like. Remember, you've got to have it clear on what the closing strategy is and what the sales strategy is to make sure that you're going to get a return. Okay, so stop the video, figure out the ones you want. You can do your closing strategy and sales strategy later, but make sure that's clear and how you're going to do that. All right, we'll see you when you get back. Okay, welcome back. Which one did you choose? Remember, implementation and action is absolutely makes things work. Having a great idea and not putting it into practice is a waste of space. So let's move on. Offer too good to refuse. This is great. You do this around about, 2 times a year, maybe 4, maybe 3, but always 2. You get everybody that came in, that never joined, or even an inquiry that never joined. And you're going to create an offer that's just off the Richter scale. You might get started for $1. At the end of the day, you might come in for a week, plus they can get started for, a great offer. Just a logical offer. But remember, to get hold of these people, you're going to send an email, you're going to send an SMS, and I recommend that you do the audio SMS. Really simple. Hi, John. Bob here from... Got some really great news for you. Give us a call, or when's a good time to call you? Or you could actually add a little bit to it, because remember, there's got to be a little bit Spartan on the characters on your SMS, when you type it. But on your audio, you can say whatever you like. You say, hi, it's Steve here from the ABC studio. Guess what? Got some great news for you. If you're still wanting to get fit, strong, get powerful, we can kick some goals together. Give us when's a good time to give you a call. Send them a voicemail, but it's a voicemail in the text. So if you're iPhone to iPhone, push the little microphone, it'll go straight to them. And the good thing about it is you'll know if they've listened to it because it will disappear. Okay, then you can do a video, same thing. But an offer too good to refuse. You might even say the offer. Oh, you can get started now just for $1. I had a business actually do this, and they said, get started now, we'll pay you $5. They say, wow, how would we do that? Well, they have to be LTRQ'd. Offer too good to refuse. Fantastic opportunity. And I've actually had businesses that were throwing away all their leads and did nothing with them. I actually took it on myself to actually call a few of them myself, and I get a split on the income. Well, I had a field day. Let me just tell you, if it's still important for that person to get bigger, lose weight, get stronger, whatever it may be, you've got to ask that question when you get on the phone to them. Hi there. I noticed you came in a little while ago. You were wanting this. And if you don't know what they were wanting, you're going to say, what was important to you then? Remember that word, what was important to you? Is it still important to you to get bigger, lose the weight, get stronger, run in a marathon? What are you doing about it? Right. Well, I've got an offer. an opportunity for you to come in. Give them some free time. And if you'd like to get started, it's only $2 to rock and roll or whatever it may be. Offer too good to refuse. Now this, you can send it out to everybody. But remember, when you send out an SMS and email, please don't do a big dump of 400 or whatever, because it'll actually kill the lead, because you're not going to be able to service that. Do it in stages. 20 a day, 40 a day, whatever it may be, depending on how many people. Now, when you send out one of these things, you must make sure you use a low entry prompt. Oh yes. You've got to call these people. You send the text, you do the audio text. You've got to call, because you've only got one chance. Remember, these people said no, or they didn't do anything before. This is great because it cleans out your database. Offer too good to refuse. So, what's going to be your offer? You're going to pay them $5, $10. What are you going to do? If you did Hour Power, you'd be paying $4, wouldn't you? What's your offer too good to refuse? What's the sweetener to get them to rock and roll? And remember, always focus on their pain, not just the offer, but that's just to give you a reason to call. Offer too good to refuse. All right, this is called Council Connection. Now, every single studio and club are in a municipality, in a council. And guess what? The council people are very powerful. They're so well connected. And what you want to do is you want to give them a call. Same thing. You see the same scenario here. You'll say, hey, I'm from, and we're nominating a number of our services in the area to be the services of the month. And what's that all about? Oh, that means that any of your team members of your whole crew, of all the staff there, can come down to our business for 1 week or 2 weeks. Now, with the council, I gave them 2. In a mini membership, to get you bigger, stronger, faster. We have all these extra good things. We find out your biological age. We do your nutrition. We've got classes. We've got group PT, whatever it may be. And guess what? It's terrific. We're only doing only a couple a month. Would you like to be nominated? If they say no, fine. But I find that the council say, yeah, absolutely. Who do I talk to? Go and see them. Always go to council bearing gifts. Give them a little t-shirt. Go in with a drink bottle. Speak to the person. Here's a little gift. Let me just tell you how it works. Mini membership. They're well connected. They're influential. They talk to many people. And again, it's for their family and their friends. For the month of whatever it may be. I always gave them 2 weeks, and I always went with a friend. And you've got to be clear. What's the closing strategy? Everyone hopefully works locally. LTRQ them. Same process. See, there's a familiar ring with it all. You've got to make sure you call them. You've got to go and see them and explain it to them, and explain it to them with a little bit of energy. Council Connection was really great. Every business that I've actually put this into, they've had a yes from their council. Something you want to do. By the way, this will take one person to do, but you need to then program it throughout the year. Remember, you're only going to do this once a year. Who's going to do it? Okay. This is interesting. You say, oh my goodness, what would I do here? The church priest, the rabbi, the clergyman. What you want to do is you want to find out a congregation, a big congregation. But what you want to do is to donate it to the church. Go to the priest and say, hey, we'd love to give back. And I've seen people do this incredibly well. And I've actually done it myself. I went there and I said to, hey, would you like? And by the way, I heard the story from America where the priest was, a little bit, hobbling around, bent over a little bit, a bit elderly, and said, how about we get you well? Anyway, the person was quite open to doing it. And when he came down to the club, everyone knew him. Yeah, because they went to his congregation. So, hello, how are you going? And guess what? He actually started to train there. And he started to move more effectively. He started to stand up straighter. People saying, wow, you're looking terrific. And he's told lots of people. People were noticing it. Now, this worked brilliantly because he told lots of people. Then they came in and we said, hey, anyone from the church can come down for our 2 weeks for free. In the month of this month. And we used to give them over a quarter. Every quarter they could do it. Now, another thing that worked really well, It's like we did with the schools. We can say we give you a 1 month, a 2 month membership, we'll give you little raffle tickets, and your people can sell them to their family and friends. And you can keep all the money for the church. Oh, yes. And then you get the butt, you then give them a call, you invite them in and do your magic. So I'm sure there's a congregation around you. Don't get too wrapped up in what it will be, because remember, we just want bums on seats. Be giving. Make sure there's a strategy in place. Usually takes 2 people to do this. Usually have a couple of contacts here. Give it to the priest for free. Now, if he or she doesn't want it, she can give it to one of her people. And by the way, they might want to give it to a needy person in their congregation. Look after them. And then say, hey, would you like to earn some money, and you keep all the money? We'll give you 2 months, 1 month, and keep it all. You might even supply them with the little ticket so you've got the butt on it, so you get the right things there. Okay, again, hope you're writing stuff down here. Remember, you've got to have a closing strategy, and you've got to have a sales strategy really clear on how you're going to convert. Okay, let's keep going. Best real estate. Whoa! Now remember, real estates have sometimes a bad rep. So choose the one that's got the best rep. In other words, reputation, not representatives. Now, there's 2 types of real estates, aren't there? There's one that are commercially orientated, that have a little bit of retail, and to sell, or they're just commercial premises, or they just sell and rent out properties. Either way, you want to find a good one. At best 2, at most 2. What you do here is you say, hey, when you've got people coming into the area, would you like to receive 2 weeks, 3 weeks gift to give to the new people that rent your properties for living in, or commercially, people that are going to be working in a premises? Give a bit of a sweetness, give you a USP. And if you like, on your trip around to the place, you can always pop them in and say, hey, you're going to get a membership here for you and your family and your team members when you rent from us or you buy from us. They could be buying a house. They could be buying a commercial property. Oh, yes. Recommendation. Give the principal a membership. Yeah. I gave principals a full year and their family, so they got used to using the facility. And sometimes I was over generous, and I gave a few to their really good real estate people that are showing the people the places. So when they did their rounds, they actually popped in and said, hey, this is the studio you're going to be working in. This is where you're going to be training. You get a free this with us. Could be a month. We also went 1 step further with everybody that moved in. When they joined, usually lots of real estates give a little welcome pack. If they didn't, we supplied a little welcome pack, a little bit of fruit, opportunity. So we then had the opportunity to give them a call. So real estate, commercial or residential. It's going to be a retail type. They're going to sell, or they're just renting. I recommend that you should be getting the best real estate agent in the area. If there's someone's a bit dubious, I'd let it go. We had an enormous amount of success. They really helped them get people to buy. All right, company of the month. I'm sure you know what this is all about. You just pick a big company and a small company every month, whether it comes from your members or whether it's just outside. It could be someone that's from Myers. It could be someone from Aldi. It could be from the garage around the corner. What you want to do is to want to walk in or give them a call and say, hey, you're in our local area. We want to sort of support our local area. And you pop in and say, hello, would you like to be our company of the month? So they get a week. They get a week or maybe 2 at your studio or your club. Same deal. You'll LTRQ everybody. You just ask the person, we're only doing 1 big one and 1 small business. Would you like to be nominated to be it? And we don't know what month it would be. And tell them what they would receive. And tell them it's for their family and their friends. Big company, small company. A big company, a small company. Now remember, I had some people that went overboard with this strategy and they were getting 3 and 4 companies a month. No, one big one, one small one, max. Now this takes 2 people to work with. You want to fill your whole year with at least 12 companies, if not 24, that have got businesses or companies of the month that are going to get a week or 2 weeks for their family and their friends. Be proactive here, guys. You just go out your door, down your strip. Just ask them. And when you go in there, if you've got any type of machines and so forth that, take away the guesswork, and bioscan would be terrific. You say, how about we find out what your biological age is right now? Boom. Wow, that'd be terrific. Everyone's going to get that when they come down if they're the business or the company of the month. They can come in for a whole week, for a whole 2 weeks, and their family and their friends. And if they like to start, they'll get a great opportunity. Would you like to nominate? How do we get hold of your staff? Let's get some of their names now. You need their names, you need their numbers, and you can give them a call and book them in. Are the members businesses, which is easy? Well, just go outside. Small business, big business. We did this every single month. We had our calendar full at the beginning of every year. And we kept them in the loop. And some of them did it twice. Sometimes we went from some of the big companies like Woolies and some little one like a local garage. Lots of little businesses, little hairdressers. One small one, one big one. Which one would you pick? Okay, next one. Now this sometimes works and sometimes doesn't. A little dubious. Sometimes if you go to some of the police force, they're not allowed to take anything for free because gratuity is not allowed, and some do, depending on your business. The fire brigade and the Yambos, same thing. You just want to go there and say, hey, you're going to be the service. Let's have a services week. So you can come in for a whole week for the month of June or July or August or September. We had an enormous amount of success here because the fire brigade had 4 days on and 4 days off. They needed a place to train. They had a gym at their place, but they wanted to get away from that area. And let me just tell you, if they say yes, firemen, policemen, ambos, they hang out together. So you want to make sure their whole family can come too. This was terrific. Now, actually, over in Sydney, we did this with a business and then went into a police station, and they gracefully declined simply because they weren't allowed to. But you know what? I don't know if it's available in your business. Why not try? Same deal, like business of the month, service of the month, school of the month. The whole thing is the same. LTRQ, give them something special. Any services or hospitals and so forth, we always gave them more. Why? Because we want to say thank you. Now, if you've got a policewoman, a policeman, a fireman, a firewoman, a paramedic, lady or man, ask them. It worked really well. In some businesses, they've done it, been terrific. And by the way, they talk to each other a lot. But always remember to include their family. Okay, another one before we stop the video. Outreach. This is done quite regularly in a lot of places, done poorly. Why? Because people go and say, hi, would you like a 2-week membership? Come down to our facilities. Oh, it's terrific, it's terrific. They go, yeah, all right. Can we put our flyers down? Wrong. Ba-bong. This has to be done with 2 people. Listen to me, 2 people. And it needs to be a strategy. Please listen to this. The strategy on outreach, you need to have, firstly, if you're going out on outreach for an hour or 2, you need to have designated outcome you're requiring. So if you've got 10 places to see in 2 hours, you need to have them written out. And then you've got to make sure there's a strategy in place. So you go to 10 one week and then another 10 the following week. Now let me tell you the strategy. The strategy is simple. You go in with a giving mentality. So the first thing is you do, you walk into the place and say, hi, we're from. Hey, go and just wanted to find out what you do. And get a bit of a listen to what they do. What do you do here? We've got lots of members at our studios and our clubs that would love to come down and use your facilities and buy your stuff, use your services. They're going to say, wow, that'd be terrific. We're always looking for friends in business. So if they come down, what sort of saving could you give out? 20%, 25%? Could you give them something for free? We'd love to tell them about it when they join and also our existing members. Give them like a welcome pack. And they'll say, oh yes, you can have 20% off this or have a free one of these. Terrific. Well, how about you give me your business card and your email address and so forth, and I'll take it to my boss and just make sure that we're a fit and we can get rolling. Terrific. Great. Oh, by the way, how many staff do you have here? All right. Well, we'll come back next week and we'll have a bit of a chat. You leave. When you go back to the studio or the club, you write them a thank you note. Send them an email. And by the way, send them a thank you note, a written one. Great to meet up with you today. Love your hairdressing salon. And I'll get back to you in the next few days. P.S. Hope you win at netball. So you found out something personal. Send it out the very same day. They'll be impressed. Send them a little letter, little card. Throw something in there. Chop or whatever. Next week, you go to another 10. Now, it depends on how often you do your outreach. If you get permission to get friends in business, find out or get their logos and start putting just a sheet of paper together. That's all you need. And what the discount is so you can give it to your new members. Now, the strategy is not just to get friends in business. That's just the first part. It's called the giving strategy. The second strategy is when you go in there, say, hey, the boss said we could to go. I said, oh, terrific. We need this, this, and this. Oh, by the way, would you like to be one of the businesses of the month? Oh yes, here we go. So just handing out little pieces of paper everywhere. Go to businesses with your outreach. You want to make sure that you got a number of businesses ticked off on your accountability. Next thing is when you go in the second time with a giving mentality, you then say how many staff members would like to come down for a whole week and 2 weeks. How many would like to have a bioscan, find out their biological age? How many would like to find out how to work with their nutrition? How many would like to do a class? Yeah. How many people you got here? Oh, well, why don't we go around and find out who would like to come? Maybe give them a sheet. Try to do it yourself, though. Try to get that a little bit of a touch point, maybe a resting pulse rate. Maybe just do a blood pressure or whatever. Have a bit of fun. Have some giveaways. This is terrific. And if you do this properly, you do 10, then another 10 the following week, another 10 and 10, so that's 20 businesses that you've gone through and you've got all these businesses of the month. You're going to be full. You've got to plan the month that they can come in and their family and their friends. Have a sales strategy, LTR queued when you book them in. Don't just everyone, they've got to be LTR queued and good to go. 2 people need to do this. It's not a one-off piece, and this is gold. It is gold. All right, let's do one more. Local hospitals. This was gold for me. I remember many, many years ago when I was finding out that a lot of people were coming to our clubs that were in the hospitals. They were nurses. And the nurses were coming in odd hours. We were open pretty late, even back in those days. We used to find out that they were training pretty hard. They had stressful jobs, sometimes do double shift. They got to unwind. And they came in. They were really good fun too. The male and the female nurses. So I just decided I would say, well, how about we go down to that hospital and I asked one of the nurses, would you like to be the hospital of the month? Same thing, remember? The hospital of the month, what's that? That means anyone from your hospital, all the nurses can come down for a whole week or 2 weeks to the studio, to the club, do all the good stuff. The same thing as you. And their family and their friends. It's always, let's have more of your buddies down here. Who would I talk to? Then you go. Now, if there's no nurses at your place, you just go to the local place and give them a call and say, hey, we are nominating. We're looking for people that we'd like to nominate a hospital of the month. Now, there's private hospital, there's public hospital, there's small specialist hospitals. I say, why we do that? Well, we want to give back to our community. And also, if anyone wants to join, they'll also get a great opportunity to, get a little bit extra. They can use that and their family and their friends. We want to be the studio of choice in the area. Go down, check out a bioscan, find their biological age, give them a little bit of a touchy-feely thing. Now, nurses are very influential. But guess what? When I did this, and it was very successful, they actually had a college that actually trained nurses. So they said, oh, could they come too? I said, oh, okay, terrific. And their family and their friends. And then I got a phone call Oh yes, from the doctors. They said, why did you not invite us too? So, sorry, let's do that. So I got another month for the doctors. They did suggest, though, that I should have gone to them first. I apologized. And then it got even worse, or better, whatever you like to say. They said, oh, the auxiliary staff and the administration team weren't given the opportunity either, because there's so many people working in a hospital. That's my mistake. But we couldn't service all those people, so let's do it in another month. So we actually spread the hospital into different sections over a number of months, and their family and their friends, LTRQ'd, all the stuff. This was so big, we needed sometimes 2 to 3 people to do it. Same strategy, just different organizations. Stop the video. What thing resonates with you? They might even have a charity. They could give them the 1 month to sell to people to raise funds for the hospital. Same thing. Do you have a hospital in your area? A small one? A big one? But you do. Stop the video. I want you now to think about what strategies work for you. As I said, take the best, leave the rest, or hybrid them a little bit and see how you go. All right, now do the planning. We'll see you when you get back. How'd you go? Got a plan? By the way, make sure you write down the people that are going to do it and what month you're going to do it in, so you can do a bit of planning. Obviously, you're not going to do them all in 1 month. You're going to spread it out over the year. All right, pretty exciting. Hey, if you do only 2 or 3 of what we've spoken about so far, you're going to have too many people. But it does take time and it does take planning. Make sure that closing strategy and sales strategy is done. All right, let's get cracking. A few more to go. We've done the local newspaper. We're not going to go there again. Now, sporting clubs. This is terrific. Now, you might have big clubs, you have small clubs. But what you want to do here is just go to these netball clubs. If you go to a netball area on a Saturday, it is inundated. They're full. There's always a local team and there's also an away team. So go and talk to the local team. Talk to some of the people and say, hey, we're going to nominate a sporting club of the month. I'd wonder if you'd like to be nominated in a netball area. They go, yeah, absolutely. Who do I talk to? Same thing, isn't it? How about we do some bioscans with you? Get your biological age. We've got phenomenal trainers that can help you with nutrition. Let's make sure you'll win the comp. We've got some injuries. You know, we're specialists in making sure we fix that up. No guesswork at our place. Who do we talk to? Go to the president. Go to the coaches. Guess what? Family and their friends. Whether it's Aussie rules, whether it's rugby league, soccer, basketball, cycling clubs, bowling clubs. Which club is going to be the club of the month? And by the way, in some cases what we did, when someone joined a club, they got a whole month at the club for free. So if they actually became a member of that club, part of their registration, they actually got a membership. Now, we went to clubs that actually had memberships. It wasn't for the people that played, but for people that was a small little club. And when they joined, like the Asquith Lees Club, they got a free month at our facility in my day. And then we then had permission to give them a call because we wanted to service them. The Privacy Act might not allow you to do that now, but at least you get the opportunity for them to opt in. Oh, to the small clubs, just the everyday, the Premier League, football, soccer. Who have you got connections with? You could make the club of the month. By the way, you only have to do it once a year, maybe twice. Family and their friends and the players. Now, obviously, we want adults. I wouldn't be going low for the kids and stuff. I'd be going to the old age. Now, you might have a few of you play footy. Some of you play netball. What are you going to pick? By the way, you're not going to get yeses from everyone you call, I can promise you. So pick a number. By the way, if you look in the phone book or look online on Google, there's always hundreds in an area. Same deal. A week or two, get them to come down, a little bit of a sweetener, family and friends, have the closing strategy, Go down to the club, get the people signed up. If at their trainings, sign them in. Few giveaways. Same strategy, isn't it? All right. Couple more. Movie Madness. I actually did this as a bit of a trial. It worked a treat. Went to the local cinema. And what I did, I'll just tell you what I did. I gave the membership for the family to the manager. Got him to come down with his family. Family didn't turn up, but at least he came down and did some training. So I said, hey, how about, because on Tuesdays and also on Saturdays and also on, I think it was a Wednesday or Thursday, they had pensioners tickets. So half price was on Tuesday. And I think Saturdays was an offer as well. So I said, hey, everyone that comes to the movies, how about we give everyone 2 weeks for free? They buy a ticket, they get it. Now, mostly people that go to the movies are local. If they're not, okay. We also had an opportunity with a booth there for people to go into a draw to win a 12-month membership. Yeah, just like an Hour of Power or any type of competition. So we had a little booth there. We had to have people to say, hey, how you going? Come on here, win this. Anyway, we had this as an availability. It was terrific. People are waiting to go into the movies, getting the candy bar, and they get the ticket with a freebie, and they actually advertised it as well. This was great. We got free advertising. We had the opportunity to meet a lot of locals, and it was really successful. We did it 2 or 3 times a year. I only need one person to organize this one. Oh, this was awesome. Council of the Age. Now, Coda. This was an activity I did with a club in Melbourne. During the day, they have some very quiet times. And what we did was we said, well, what can we do to fill this time up? So we actually said, put a program together, a 6-week program, completely for free. And we rung up Council of the Aged. We said, we've got this great program, breathing, a little bit of passive exercise, a little bit of stretching, a little bit of very light resistance, a bit of walking, a little bit of nutrition. It's completely for free between this time and this time. And you can bring up to 50 people along. They said, terrific, how much? I said, it's free. Free? Why is it free? It'll help your people. So all of a sudden they said, okay. So they got a little minibus and brought the people to this club. It was terrific. They came in, we had a nice little program, and there for an hour they stuck around, ate all the cakes and all the cups of tea afterwards, and then they came back the following week. They really loved it, and guess what? Some of them joined, and they joined on a membership. They can come in the really quiet time on a super off peak, a little bit cheaper, and it really helped the people. And you know, the older people, they have families. What happened? Their families wanted to find out where grandma and grandpa were, or mum and dad were. And then we got memberships from then. And if they referred their friends, because remember, Council of the Aged, same deal. They can come down 6 weeks. That's just an hour, 6 hours. And they can bring any of their family and friends as well. It was awesome. A lot of people actually upgraded, and the referrals were very, very high. And by the way, when mum and dad or grandpa and grandpa says come, they listen, don't they? What could you do in your area? You might not have Council of the Aged, but do you have organizations that do that? Put a program together. Get them in there with an offer too good to refuse. Super off peak. Use your downtime. All right, here we go. Couple more. This was awesome. This is one of our biggest successes in our try before you buy type model. I remember many, many years ago as I was going surfing one Saturday. Got all dressed up in my daggy gear, my yellow beanie and my Ugg boots. And I was driving down. It was the wee hours of the morning. It was just sunrise, and I was this little cafe that I used to go to always on a Saturday before I met up with my friends to go surfing. And one day I actually went down there and I saw all these chairs were getting put together. I said, what's going on over there? It was the beach. I said, oh, there's a sporting event, a biathlon. Oh. My brain started ticking and saying, wow, I wonder how many people are going to come. They said, oh, it's packed. So I walked over there and I saw these people walking around. It's very busy, and I asked the lady very quickly. I said, "Oh, by the way, how many people you got coming?" "Oh, who are you?" I look like a bum. I was just wondering how many people come. I said, "Oh, a lot of people local." They said, "Oh, yes, some are and some aren't." I said, "Oh, how many people?" There was a lot. And I said, "Well, I'm just curious. Do you have sponsorships here?" And they go, "Oh, absolutely. There's people, there's people." I said, "Oh, look, I actually own a lot of health clubs. I'm just wondering if, what do you give the person that wins?" And they went, blah, blah, blah. And I said, "Okay, well, what would happen if I was to give them a 12-month membership? How many different categories do you have?" And I think it was 6 or 7. Yeah. Well, that's going to be worth at least, what, 10 grand? Oh. I said, "What do you give the person that comes second?" "This, not much." So we give them 6 months. I said, "Oh, wow, well, that would be worth this." "What about third?" That was obviously a 3 months. "Hey, but what about the guys that come fourth all the way down?" "Oh, they don't get anything." I said, "How about we give them 2? Right down to, say, the first 50. "Oh, that'd be terrific." "Now, what about all the other ones from 50 down to like the 500 or whatever?" I said, "Oh, they get nothing." "How about we give them a month?" "Oh, that'd be terrific." I said, "What about the ones after that? How about we give them 2 weeks? How about we give everyone a month just to give them a little bit of sweetener?" Now, a lot of them won't be in the areas, but we had a lot of clubs outside of the area. So we had clubs everywhere. But you might just say, just have to be people that lived and worked locally. They can give it to someone away, but they can travel. I said, "Wow, that'd be awesome." I said, "Well, let me just work that out." It was a significant amount of memberships. But you know what I did? The people that trained, that did the triathlon, they already had a club they were going to. They were probably training like a diamond. It was the ones underneath there that weren't doing that well that more than likely needed it. Well, guess what? Everyone received these. And some of them took them, and then we had the opportunity to give them a call because they had been given this as part of their, let's say, prize. On the day, we said we'd like to do a demonstration and do a raffle on the day. Oh, yes. On the day. And we said we'll do a raffle, we'll do a demonstration. We could do that. We had lots of people enter. We gave up memberships for all the people that came to watch. Now, obviously, some were out of the area, but this was huge. This takes a number of people to do. What sporting events could you sponsor to give some stuff away? The first prize could be a 12-month, 6-month membership, and the other ones could just get the 1 month or 1 week or 2 weeks. Perceived value worked beautifully. We did it all the time, hugely successful. We just had sometimes trouble in getting hold of everybody because there were so many people. This was gold. Have a closing strategy. LTRQ, obviously, if they don't live and work locally, they're not going to come, so it doesn't matter. So what are you going to do? Are there any fun runs in your area? Okay, we're getting to the end of our guerrilla marketing and lead gen from a sales perspective. Super short offer. Recommend you do it a couple of times a year. Around the Easter time, just before Easter, just around about Christmas and New Year, where someone can come and join on a very short term. Short term with a signed DD to move forward. So super cheap, making sure that period of time, it's a low amount of money, but more expensive than normal for if they were a member. But it's a short period of time. Could be 2 months. It could be 3 months. Paid up front. But they'll have to sign a DD to get the super cheap. So let's say it costs normally, let's say it would be $800, but they can only get 2 weeks or 3 weeks. They're going to be a lot less, but they have to sign a DD to continue afterwards to get the cheapie. If they don't want to do that, they can obviously buy a more expensive one. Super cheap offers in a short period of time between Christmas and New Year to go in, say, for 6 weeks afterwards, usually gives us an opportunity for them to try before they buy, and you've got the DD signed up. Obviously, if it's not Easter or December, when you're listening to this is not relevant, but it works a treat. Top-up campaigns work fantastic. This can be done at least 2 or 3 times throughout the year. We got little buttons. It costs a little bit of money. It wasn't expensive. Yeah. Top up now, ask me how. So in other words, someone could be on a 12-month membership. They just have to re-sign, and they got a little extra, little bit of a top up. Top up now, ask me how. Maybe give a little bit of a secondary spend opportunity. This could be done anytime throughout the year. Get people to recommit. Say, I'll beat the price right. Top up now, ask me how. So we'll lock you in for a better price. So you got people and say, let's upgrade your stuff. Top up now, ask me how. If you actually do it now, you're going to get an extra session one extra sessions a month. Top up now, ask me how. Make sure you have, and by the way, we put these up in laminates and we hung them from the roof with a fishing line. Because people go, whoa, what's this all about? And it's all around the place, not just on the wall, but getting them hanging from fishing wire. And we just use little paper clips to hold it up there. It's terrific. Top up now, ask me how, a couple of times a year. A couple of things that we did that were huge was a donation. We were big on supporting charities. And what we will ask people to do is when they joined, to donate. Bring some clothes, bring some food, whatever it was for. And, at the end of the day, we say, we're going to give half of your joining fee to the charity. Or if you pay the joining fee, we'll match the joining fee to that charity. You advertise that accordingly. Guess what? You tell the newspapers. You put it on Facebook Live. And you tell them you're donating to charity. If you bring in some food or you bring in a blanket, we're going to have, you can join for $1. They bring in the food. They bring in the blankets. You say you can join for $1. You got a membership. Instead of saying, let's drop the membership price, could be joined for $20. And say join for $20 and we'll match it in the charity as well. This gives you great kudos out in the community. It gives you a reason to get coming in to get started for you as well as help someone else. We supported the guide dogs. And we actually have a great big check. And when we had the check, we told the newspaper. And then guess what? We told the guide dogs people to come down and get it. And guess what? We got tons of kudos. What charity could you do that with? Once or twice a year? No more. Work's a treat. Now, if your business has been around for over 4 years, maybe 5, time to do a relaunch. Paint a few walls, get 2 or 3 things that are different in the place, and then relaunch your business. Just like a pre-sale, but it's just like revamping. Let the new people in the community know that you're back or you're around. It's the new studio, it's the new club. And then you send it out to all of your ex-members. Say, this is new. This is 3 new things that we have here. Come and try it. Come and try it for 2 weeks. LTRQ, quality guarantee. But it's just like a pre-sale. So you've got to have all hands on deck. This is a training in itself. But let me promise you, if you've been open more than 3 to 4 or 4 years or more and you haven't relaunched, you have a massive opportunity. Get another 100, another 150 people. I've had people say, would you be happy with 50? Easy peasy if done properly. Relaunches, work a treat. Last one is management follow-up. What I recommend is in any lead generation activity and any sales business, you've got to go to the people that said no. And if you just say accept it, that's not good enough. Recommendation. Everyone that says no, all the leads need to be put in front of the manager or the sales manager or the senior. After a day or 2, if they've decided not to buy your product and or service, you give them a call. You say, ring, ring, hello, may I speak to John? Hi, John, I'm Steve. I'm the manager or the owner of the business. You came in and saw Pamela the other day. Reason for my call is I just want to see how your experience was and make sure you looked after properly. How was your experience? So you're asking for feedback. And you just say, I noticed down here on your needs analysis or your exercise history, health history, that you're wanting to get bigger, you want to lose weight. Is that still important to you? Yeah, and I was just curious, why didn't you join? Given that everything was to your liking, they might say it was the price or it was whatever. And you're just going to use the if strategy. If it wasn't for the challenge, is there any other reason why you wouldn't move forward and want to lose the weight so you're looking terrific or getting back into first grade? Because you'll have it all written down. Say no? Well, let's get a bit creative. Come down and see me. How about I give you a 3-day mini membership on me, see if you like it, and then I'll look after you. I used to do this all the time. On average, you got about a 30% return. What are you doing with the people that don't join? If you're a manager or a senior, go back and do it. And at the worst, it's good PR. All right. Now what we're going to do is stop the video because we're done. Because what we need to do now is to have a plan, an action plan and an implementation plan, a utilization of the processes is more important than just hearing about the good stuff. So I'm going to get you to stop the video. You're going to wrap it up. You're either going to have 6 strategies for 12 months or 12 strategies over 12 months with the allocated people. What month are you going to do them? Have your closing strategy and your sales strategy sorted. And let me just tell you, I've actually had businesses that just did their ordinary marketing. And I've had businesses not do any of the ordinary marketing in a chain and just did this guerrilla marketing stuff I've shown you. Let me just tell you, after we reviewed the numbers after 12 weeks, the business that just did what I've just shown you, that were proactive and had the strategies in place, outperformed everyone that just waited for the everyday norm. So if you're serious about generating enough leads so you see more people and make more sales, sit down, do your action plan, have some accountability, and put it into place. Remember, the sales strategy and closing strategy is equally as important as the lead gen strategy. And you've got to have the allocated time and people and month to put it into practice. All right. Hope you enjoyed that. Lots to think about. Get into action. Kick some goals. Thanks for joining me. And I definitely will see you around the traps. And let's hear about some of your success. I love hearing about success. And let's kick some goals. All right, Dr. J, Steve Jensen signing off. Bye for now.